I'm back. It's tip-off for July 21st. 2 weeks of news to make up. It's all coming your direction today, and the drum roll still lives. Pow! How are you? Glad to be back, I think. It's in Hawaii. You ever been to Hawaii? No one's ever been glad to leave Hawaii, but glad to be back. I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is a podcast that we do generally daily. It will probably be a little less than daily from here on till October. There'll be some blips. It's not always that much to talk about, but I'll try to do 3 to 4 days a week the rest of the way. Give you guys some days off, try to do some interviews, catch up with some people, things of that sort. So I'm glad to be back. We got the plan today is to hit free agency in a very general sense, league news as is, Jazz moves, Jazz Summer League. So 4-parter. I probably should try to leave some stuff for the rest of the week. I'll get into your questions more as the week goes on probably than today. I don't guarantee that I'll get to them today. It is up, and if nothing else, I'll save those for you if you grab it. Big day for me today on a personal level. I don't know if you really care about this, but I thought I'd share, and I do realize sharing this story what a fortunate situation this is for us. But I, 32 years ago, went to summer camp. Left home for 4 weeks to sleepaway summer camp. It turned out to probably be the single most important thing that ever happened in my life. That a huge believer of secondary social environments for kids. Gave me the foundation to believe in myself. Great, just unbelievable life experiences, social experience, social confidence, all sorts of things. And today, my kids, I went for 4 weeks. My kids have gone, my son has gone twice for 1 week, and today I took him to the airport just a few moments ago and dropped him off as he flew to the Pacific Northwest for 4 weeks of summer camp. So part of me's missing for 4 weeks because that's my guy, but I think it's good for him. Can't be selfish and keep him around. And just a big moment for me. Maybe one of the prouder moments I've had as a father. Didn't shed any tears today, but last night, a few lay in bed with him, a few rolled down. All right, I'll stop there. But anyway, so cool stuff, at least on my end. Let's run through it the best I can. And as I said, I'll see what we do with questions today, how long this gets. All right, so obviously, I'm going to start league-wide, as I said, then league news, then Jazz, and then Summer League. LeBron to Cleveland. It's a stunner. But you go back and walk through some of it. I think you have to look beyond what we're being told. Okay, it's going back home. I got it. I think LeBron realized first that he couldn't become a guy who just flopped from team to team to team to team. The great ones really have not done that. His legacy would be tarnished if he had gone to Chicago and then 3 years later gone to the Lakers. That would hurt him. So it became clear he could either go to Miami or Cleveland, I think, in his mind. And that got out in the process. I got the coming home angle. But I think the real angle is I carried Dwayne Wade's ass for 34 games last year, or 24 games last year. He only played 58. He's tired. He's not playing every minute anymore. I can't carry him anymore. I'm not playing this game. I think that's a huge part of what happened here. Wade and LeBron may still have a good relationship, but whether it was conscious or subconscious, we did it on this podcast. We ran through the video of Dwayne Wade simply not putting out effort. I said on the podcast, Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat better hope LeBron never watches this, because if he sees this, he's not coming back. I think it's a huge part of what happens and what happened. I really do. I think that's I think that's a considerable part of this equation. I'm not sure that Pat Riley's, remember when everybody was in love with Pat Riley's speech and how much credit he was given for that? And it was the speech that every fan wanted. I think it backfired. I think it pissed him off. Don't tell me what to do. I think those two things have been and truthfully, I was on 4-hour time change difference and spending a lot of time in the sun, so I may have not heard it, but I felt like those two things were not talked about enough. I do think LeBron looked at Wade and said, I'm not carrying you anymore. I do think LeBron looked at my Pat Riley speech and said, I don't like that. Homie, not playing that. I don't think there was a problem with Spoelstra. And I think LeBron looked at Cleveland and thought he could get control. He's got it. I mean, the fact that, the whole Kevin Love talk's going on, LeBron's in control. That's what he wanted. That's what happened. So that's, to me, the story of LeBron to Cleveland. Carmelo has a chance to win a title. Not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But he has a chance to win a title if he goes to Chicago and he goes back to New York. $50 million, guys. I'd love to bang on him. I want to bet $50 million. I have yet to come up with a circumstance in which someone bypasses $50 million. In any part of life, in anything. $50 million. You got to go back to New York. So where do we stand on the landscape today? There is no lead team in the East. And this is going to change the landscape of the NBA dramatically, because what has happened, and part of the reason why the West is so much better than the East today, and will maintain to be, has been because when LeBron and Wade and Bosh got together, other than Indiana, who simply could ill afford to be bad because of their stadium situation, their fan base situation, and the malice in the palace and all the remnants of that. Other than Indiana, the Knicks because they're in New York, and an asinine approach by Brooklyn, nobody else in the East was trying to win. They looked at in Chicago, take that back, sorry, Chicago. They looked at the landscape and they simply realized they couldn't compete with Miami. That's over. Now Washington's on. Now Toronto's on. Now Cleveland's trying to build. Miami's trying to rebuild. Brooklyn may think they have a chance. They don't. New York might think they have a chance. Charlotte's on. Indiana's trying to maintain. And the East is now back on. As we sit today, the East is less good than it was a year ago. There are no dominant teams. Indiana and Miami were the two teams that can compete with anyone in the West. They're both less good than they were when this started. There are now arguably 9, if not 10 teams. Hello, Travis. 9, if not 10 teams in the Western Conference are better than anyone in the East, but that will change. Because now the East is back open and on. And now Eastern Conference teams are going to try. And that is as important as anything else that has happened in this free agent period, landscape-wise, is the East is back on. In the West, I'm not sure anyone's much better. Clippers, maybe. But, really the problem for the Clippers is that Jared Dudley, J.J. Redick, Matt Barnes isn't good enough. And unless I've forgotten something, possible, I was in the sun a lot, I don't see it. Jordan Farmar, Darren Collison's a step down. Spencer Hawes is interesting. He can't defend at all. Great passer, good shooter, can't defend at all. So what are they going to do? Play he and Blake together to open up for Blake? They were already the number one offensive team in the NBA. I'm not sure the Clippers got better. Dallas, I think, has made a terrible mistake on Chandler Parsons. Terrible. It's one thing, and we'll get into this with Hayward, to pay obscene money to a player that's not worth it, as the Jazz probably did with Gordon Hayward, when you're not trying to win the championship. But when you are, and it then taps your flexibility, that's a major, major mistake. I kind of like Memphis's move with Vince Carter. I'm not a Chris Kaman guy. I don't think he helps you win. He's inefficient. I guess he's better than Joel Freeland or Myers Leonard, who's awful for Portland, but I'm not sure he's that much better. Steve Blake is, I guess, better than Mo Williams, but not a lot. Did anyone in the West get better? The Warriors add Sean Livingston, trying to still replace their Jared Jack loss. It's very interesting. Oklahoma City has been stunningly quiet. What are they doing? Anthony Morrow for Thabo Sefolosha, and that's it? Be careful, Kevin Durant's a free agent. The Lakers are going to have a lot of money. So are the Knicks, and so are the Wizards. Oklahoma City then is going to find out what the real NBA is if that happens to them. So it's fascinating. The biggest takeaway, big picture, 30,000 feet look down on the last 21 days of NBA free agency is the following. The East is now open and on, and everyone's trying. Nobody took a significant major jump anywhere. I'm not going that Charlotte got better with Lance Stevenson. He's Lance Stevenson. You got a chance to torpedo everything. I'd love to tell you that Chicago got better with Doug McDermott and Nikolai Mirotic, but they just got younger. And when you're going to be asking guys to be better is when in late May and June. Who got better? Mistakes were made, but I'm not sure who got dramatically better. Pretty fascinating. All right, league news right now is there's some talk of Phoenix being interested in Greg Monroe in Detroit. That's pretty fascinating to me. He doesn't run well. He's not a great defender, so he doesn't match some of the things Phoenix wants, but he's a beautiful ball mover. Love bigs who can pass. And Monroe can pass. Monroe might be an interesting mix to Phoenix. Keep an eye on it. Phoenix is being talked about as an offer sheet for Greg Monroe. Knicks are willing to move some of their guards. I looked over the list. You always wonder locally whether there's any impact. I kind of like Wayne Ellington as a backup guard for the Jazz. He's on the Knicks roster. All right, let's get to the Jazz. The big news was Hayward. Disaster? No. Good? No. Good to have Gordon back? Yes. Is Gordon a hell of a player? Yes. Have we forgotten that? Yes. Why? God, no idea. Gordon's really good, guys. Is he LeBron? Is he Carmelo? Is he Kevin Durant? Is he Russell Westbrook? No. He's really good, though. He's got to be better than he was last year. Not a problem. He will be. But he's really good. Is he a max player? Yeah. He got an offer sheet and he got paid. What is a max player? Chandler Parsons sure the hell isn't. He just got paid too. So it's what the market bears. We knew this going in. There were 24 slots. I think this was the last podcast I did. There were 24 slots of $10 million or more available in the market and about 10 to 12 players who are worth it. If you've been following the free agency manifesto, I tiered the players. I didn't have the answer for you on when I tiered the players. I didn't necessarily have the answer to you on what they were all going to get paid, but I did have the answer to you on how they were going to be tiered. And if you look through it, I haven't updated since we got back, but if you look through it, the tiers are pretty accurate. I cannot pull up the free agency manifesto today or else I would lose the entire broadcast. Just glitch in the system. But if you check it out. So what does that mean about Gordon? We couldn't afford to lose an asset. Everyone knew it. We tried to scare people off, frankly, by saying we're going to match it. Charlotte played the game. We matched it. It was a cat and mouse game between Bartlestein and Hayward's camp and the Jazz camp, back and forth. And Bartlestein and Hayward's camp won. Okay. Everyone's fine with that. we should be too as fans. Gordon did what a free agent player should do and his agent should do. They maximized their opportunity, read the marketplace, got their deal done. Should have the Jazz offered Gordon more last year? I don't believe any of the reports that Mark Stein has put out about what that deal would have gotten done at. I don't know the number, though, to say that he's totally inaccurate of what that deal would have got done at. But let's say it would have got done at $13 million. All right, so we cost ourselves $2 million over the next 2 or 3 years, 12, 13, or 3, or I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think the day is going to come where that deal becomes preventative to us from getting anything else done. We still have cap room next year. If Cantor and Favors earn that type of money, there's no deal the year after that comes up. Trey Burke comes up. The 4th year of this deal, everything's going to be different. New landscape, new TV deal, and Hayward can opt out. There was very little pain for the Jazz to match Hayward's deal, other than you're overpaying him. But at what cost? Who are we? How many games are we going to win next year? What's your best case scenario? Okay, why would you possibly give up a player then? You don't. So yes, in the game of cat and mouse of negotiation, I think you can put the W on the Bartelstein Hayward side. It was very important for them to get a max deal for Gordon. Very, very important. It may turn out to be very good for the Jazz. He has a good camp in Vegas. Maybe he gets a little more respect. He gets treated a little differently. Here's a question I don't have an answer to that I got asked the other day, and I don't know if Chandler Parsons counts in this. Any other white American players that have a max deal? I don't know why it matters. I got asked that. But maybe there's a level of respect that Gordon's camp felt he needed to get, that you get in this league financially, that you then can back up with your play and get treated differently. Let's see. But I do know that the numbers on the deal were very, very important for the Hayward camp, not necessarily just in his bank account, but in how he's talked about and looked about around the league. Is there more pressure on him? Absolutely. Bottom line, we kept an asset. We've paid more than we would have liked to. The damage long term on this, probably almost none. Or let's go minimal. It was a no-brainer. You would have liked to negotiate. Yeah, you'd like to get him for 9. You would have liked to get him for 11. You would have liked to get him for 13. You got him for 15. Ugh. Okay, move on. And he'll be good in this system. The next move was we signed Trevor Booker and acquired Steven Novak. Beautiful compliments to Cantor and Favors. And suddenly you can see how the front court's going to fit as a team. You got Novak, you got your shooter, you got your stretch. You replaced Marvin with that. And the deal on Marvin, and this is where you guys are going to ask questions over the next few days, and I can get back to all of them. Things that are left over, I forget. I didn't have Marvin in my notes. My sources tell me on Marvin, to come back to Utah, he wanted 4 years guaranteed, upwards of $7 million. If I'm going to a rebuilding situation, I'm going to be a veteran leader. I want the length. I want the commitment long term. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm closing my career. I'm going off the map as a player in regards to impact of winning games and being a part of, as you guys are building, then I need the years. Fair request, doesn't match what we're doing. Didn't match. Okay, move on. Unfortunate. We love Marvin. So Novak replaces Marvin's role, better shooter, not as versatile a player, can't do as many things, really somewhat of a specialist, shooting specialist. That's good. But if Cantor or Favors got hurt, he can't start. Can't start games with him. We needed a guy who, when Cantor and Favors get hurt, you have to project that your players are going to lose 11 games a year to injury. That's the average. I know, Stockton alone. Shut up. It's over. I mean, come on, they're statues. They're no comparison. They're unbelievable. They're the most amazing things we've ever seen. We can't stop. We just can't have that. Like, it's not happening. I know Stockton Malone. That's why we should have just been genuflecting every single day that they ever took the floor in front of us. The fact is, Booker can start. Started, I think, all but 2 games past All-Star break last year. Trevor Booker, not fabulous, good young player, nice dude. Back in Washington, he opened his career with that nightmare locker room with Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton and Andre Blatch and all the knuckleheads. And then he saw it mature. He probably actually becomes a veteran, a little bit of a leader. Quinn Snyder's got to be the leader on this team. It's not going to be Richard Jefferson. It's not going to be Marvin Williams. We're not going to be beholden to the veterans holding locker rooms together. It's got to be Quinn Snyder. It's got to be Quinn Snyder. It's got to be Quinn Snyder's ability to communicate with Gordon Hayward better than anyone's ever communicated with Gordon Hayward. It's got to be Quinn Snyder's ability to reach Dante Exum and Trey Burke. It's got to be Quinn Snyder's ability to get to Derek Favors. It's going to be hard. Some of those guys aren't very receptive to this. That's what this is about. Veteran leadership, forget it. It's up to Quinn. Sure, maybe Quinn can communicate with Booker through some things. But I think the day of having the Richard Jefferson and the Marvin Williams that are coddling these young guys around and helping them through and giving the head coach security, it's over. It's up to Quinn. He's got the contract. He's got the years. He's going to have to do it. Those are the guys. He has to be the leader. Booker and Novak are beautiful compliments because if everyone's healthy, depending who you're playing, what you need that day, I think Kanter's the 4 and Favors is the 5. Gobert backs up Favors. When Kanter goes out of the game, are we playing stretch? We go to Novak. If we're playing big and physical, we go to Booker. They don't all perfectly complement each other, but go with that concept a little bit. The way the team sits right now, your guards are Trey, Dante, Alec. Your wings are Hayward and Hood. Your 4s are Kanter, Novak, Booker. And your 5s are Favors and Gobert. It's 10 guys. That's your rotation. That's your rotation. Crazy young. Not sure that there's many more wins on the ledger right now other than a system change and some development. We haven't added wins. Fine. Part of the process. 8 very young pieces. What do we do now? I think we need a shooting 2. Burks, and Exum can't shoot. Alec is better than the rest of them. Burke and Exum really can't shoot. We need a shooting 2, Wayne Ellington. We need somebody who's a shooting 2. Hayward and Hood are going to get your wing minutes. I think originally the thought was you might go get a shooting 2-3, and if he steals some minutes from Rodney Hood, then that happens, and that's the reality of things. I think Rodney Hood may have played well enough in Vegas that that's not how they'll start the year. I think Rodney Hood and Rudy Gobert were the 2 big Summer League winners. I think they've earned rotation spots from their Summer League play. I think we get another guard, point guard, but I'm beginning to think that it's more of a younger, hard practicing, non-threat to Burke or Exum, who probably spends most of the year in Idaho, either under contract or not. I'm not even sure if they'd be under contract, right? Malcolm Thomas. So that's 10. There's 11, 12. Malcolm Thomas probably makes the team at 13. And then who knows? It's 14. Like, it's set. That's it. Jeremy Evans is on the roster somewhere in there. So that's 14. Though I'm not sure Malcolm Thomas and Jeremy Evans both make the team. Jeremy makes the team. He's under contract. He could, he's got value. But I'm just, at some point you're duplicating yourself on your roster. So we'll see. All right, Summer League. I think the biggest thing we saw was the system. It's pretty interesting. It's Atlanta with some variations of San Antonio in it. A lot of empty post action. Heck of a lot of pick and rolls. I'm vacation mode. Gotta get my mouth back. A lot of wave ball screens, but outside the 3-point line. A lot of penetration and kick. Pretty interesting to start considering Derek Favors on the roll. Pretty interesting to start considering Gordon Hayward playing in that kind of space. That's what Gordon wants. That's what he was asking for is space. He now gets it. Pretty interesting to look for Alec Burks. Interesting. Yesterday on Alex's birthday, I was all ready to write up this post about how Alec in the new system would come off the pick and roll and be so successful. And then I looked at Alec's pick and roll numbers, and they're terrible. And I was surprised by that. Alec does have to work on, he goes away from the pick too much. He's got to work on using the pick. He's a better isolation player. Alec's going to have some really big adjustments under Quinn, and if he can do them, he's going to be fabulous. I mean, fabulous, but he's got to do them. One thing is every time Alec catches, he bounces. That's not how this game's going to work with Quinn. They're going to move the basketball. And it's Cantor, another one. These are probably different podcasts that we could do in their entirety. Pretty curious to see what's going to happen. The play I liked the most, early double drag screen. I'll see if I can go find some of these plays. Summer League stuff still up. It's hard. They don't want play-by-play, though. Early double drag screen, guard coming left to right off double pick up top of the free throw line. I'm going to try something here. I don't know if this is going to work. This is going to be funny. Hey, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, so if you're on the video, I'm drawing the play right here. All right, so this is really funny. The way they have it is so that the basket is supposed to match on my face. I'm supposed to be drawing on my face, and so now when I talk, the basket sits there. Okay, so here we have pick, double drag screen up at the top, and actually I just made a mistake. Is that an eraser? Yeah. Oh, no, that's, yeah. All right. So let me redo that. This is the first time I've done this. If you're watching on video, it's kind of funny. So it's pick, double pick. Ball handler comes up the left side a la Tony Parker, comes off the double screen left to right. Exum's great at this, turns the corner. The beauty of this play is let's assume for a second that this is either Hayward, Burks, or someone of that sort. I'm going to end up being on YouTube for bloopers here with some of the drawing here. I got that already, okay? So what the Jazz have been doing is, so the ball handler turns the corner here, and I'm not sure that it's always determined which one, but the roll guy, one big rolls with the ball to the opposite side of the basket. Sorry, I didn't mean to, I just hit my mouse. While the ball handler continues to dribble up, and this big pops back, and your other guys are here in the corner. Saw this play a lot. Really liked it. So you have coming left to right, the ball handler off a double stagger. The first pick guy either pops back or rolls, and the second guy either does the opposite. One rises, one drops, and the ball handler comes. Now you have a two-game in the middle of the floor. If anybody helps out, you can hit the corners, or you can flare it back for a top-of-the-key three. It's the shot Eric Murphy missed a ton in camp. It's where Enes Kanter is going to get a bunch of looks. This is Kanter popping, Favors rolling, Burke or Exum coming across the corner, Alec and Gordon in the corners. Gordon's one of the worst corner three-point shooters in the NBA last year. He's going to have to make this shot. Rodney Hood in the corner. So I loved that play when I saw it this summer. Rudy Gobert was super, but it's Summer League. I have great trepidation about giving love about Summer League play. David Benoit owns Summer League. Ian Clark owns Summer League. I'm not sure Ian Clark did enough to get by his guarantee date August 1. I'm certain Eric Murphy didn't. Malcolm Thomas will be at training camp. He's not guaranteed, so he'll get to camp. Gobert was strong. He was super against the 10th, 11th, 12th guys at best in the NBA and a bunch of guys who will never play in the NBA. Let's just be honest about what Summer League is. I know that you guys are all riding high. I'm probably killing the buzz a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm going to just be honest. I think this year is going to be great. Don't misunderstand me. I'm very excited. I look at the Burks, Exum, Hayward, Hood, Cantor, Novak, Booker, Favors, Gobert. I think it's going to be really fun. We're not going to get a lot of wins. I think it's going to be really fun. With Quinn's system, I like everything I see. But I don't want to give you false hope on a bunch of crap. Okay? Gobert, in his second year in the NBA, should be pretty good. Was better than he should have been. Huge win. Huge win. Rotation player. Very disappointing he didn't get more time at the end of last year. Not sure in retrospect why the Jeremy Evans minutes went to Jeremy Evans instead of Rudy Gobert during that time period. I'm still a bit discouraged or lack of understanding of why that happened. But it did. What else? Exum. We saw the burst. We saw the pizzazz. Handle's not good enough. Handle's not good enough, guys. It's got to get a lot better. It's big, tall, 6'6" point guards are hard. And you know what? I don't feel any different. I didn't see a lot of Dante Exum before the draft, but I would say the people I talked to who told me about Dante Exum when I watched him, everything I was told before the draft, before we knew we were going to get him, I think still holds true. Fabulous kid. Terrific family. Major star potential. Huge burst. Insane speed. Will be one of the fastest guys in the league. Over 6'5" the day he enters the league. Totally true. Handle's not good enough. Shooting's not good enough. If he's a shooting guard, not a point guard, he could bust. He's got to be a point guard. So his handle's got to get better, and he's got to figure out how to make shots. Here's the daunting one, guys. Trey Burke, who I thought had a pretty good summer league, shot less well than Dante Exum in summer league. Trey Burke coming off one of, I think, the 5 or 6 worst offensive seasons of any player in the NBA last year who played, shot 30% in summer league. I don't know how big a deal I want to make out of it, but I don't love it. Little concerned. Okay, if I ran a quick search here, let me see if I can do this. I can pull it up for you guys. Here, I'll do a screen share so you don't get bored while I'm looking what I'm looking at to back up what I'm saying. Okay, let's do a quick search here, and let's do a quick sort of Locke offensive rating, largest to small. Actually, let's do smallest to largest. Now let's go over here and have it be only players that played at least, 20 minutes a game? 18 minutes a game. We'll call 18 a rotation player. And let's scan down here and give it only players that played 50 games a year. Okay? According to my offensive numbers, these are the least good offensive players in the NBA last year. Josh Smith, Tayshaun Prince, Luke Ridnour, J.J. Barea, Trey Burke. Okay? Let's just understand what the rookie year was. And the reason is 4.6% of his possessions to the free throw line for Trey last year. Okay, big time shots, great moxie, fabulous vibe, good leadership, super kid, got a little something to him, a lot of positives. Stark reality, 5th worst offensive player in the NBA last year, according to my numbers. By the way, notice who the 7th is? Michael Carter-Williams. And Raymond Felton. That's why Dallas didn't get better. It's a terrible trade to pick up Raymond Felton. It's a pretty interesting list here, by the way. By the way, just to run through it for those who are listening on the podcast, Josh Smith, Tayshaun Prince, Luke Ridnour, J.J. Barea, Trey Burke, Kevin Garnett, Michael Carter-Williams, John Salmons, Dante Cunningham, Raymond Felton, Austin Rivers, Brandon Jennings, Ersan Ilyasova, Carlos Boozer, Caldwell Pope, the rookie for Detroit, Kendrick Perkins, Amon Shumpert, Ben McLemore in Sacramento, major concern. How bad was this rookie class? Harrison Barnes, maybe why they don't want to trade. Nate Wolters, rookie. Glenn Davis, Tony Roten, Ricky Rubio, Kirk Heinrich, Jared Sellinger, Kendall Marshall, Evan Turner. These are the players that, according to my numbers, are negative Locke offensive ratings, which actually means that you could take a D-League replacement player and kind of put them in there off replacement level. Why is Trey Burke on that list? Because of 4.6% of his possessions at the free throw line. He's got to find a way to get to the free throw line. That's going to be incredibly important for Trey Burke's future. Dante Exum and Trey Burke, both assist to turnover ratio. I don't worry about that in Summer League because of the fact that it's Summer League. You're not playing with other NBA players. I don't worry a great deal about 30% shooting and 14% from the three-point line, which both these guys did because it's Summer League. But let's be honest about Dante Exum. He's not a shot maker right now. He's going to have to figure out a way. He probably will. Let's be honest about Trey Burke. He's got to find a way to be a knockdown shooter if he's going to have success in this league. Because he's undersized. He's not showing a propensity to get to the free throw line. And so he's got to be a 35 to 38% three-point shooter. And then when he's that, he then has to learn how to play a little bit around the rim and around the basket. But last year, I think he was one of the 4 or 5 worst finishers around the basket in the NBA, which is, hey, you develop that. It's not a big deal. These are ways, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. But by the way, Trey shot 6 free throws in 4 games in Summer League. Okay? Only reason I bring these things up, don't misunderstand this. Trey's going to be fine, I think. He's got work to do. They've all got work to do. We can get so excited and so fired up about Summer League, but then let's back up. Let's just make sure we all understand what's going on here. Okay? Got work to do. It's going to be a process. Not a lot more wins left on the board. Exciting? Yeah. Twin system? Exciting? Yeah. Playing in pick and roll? Yeah, I like it. Like a lot of it. Like a whole lot of it. But let's just make sure we understand where everybody is in the process. Is Dante Exum going to win Rookie of the Year? No way. No. Defensively way behind. Can't make a shot yet. Skill set? Awesome. Glad we took him 5? Yep. Glad we took Trey Burke 9 last year? It's crazy steal. Crazy steal in that draft. Am I buying Anthony Bennett, by the way? No. Okay? Like, there's another example. I'm just not going goo goo gaga off Anthony Bennett. Everyone's in love with Anthony. Why? Because he didn't throw up on himself? Holy cow, he's the number 1 pick of a draft from 2 years ago. I'm not sure there's ever been a number 1 pick of a draft that actually played the next year in Summer League. That's an exaggeration, but it might be true. And by the way, you know what everyone's in love with about Anthony Bennett? He shot 43% from the field and 25% from 3 in the Summer League. He should kick those guys. Right? I mean, he's going up against... You got it. You know where I am on this. All right. Glad to be back. If I forgot anything, I think that got too negative. I didn't mean it to be. Well, I think that's where we are. Hope you're good. 40 minutes in the book. Hope you enjoyed. Glad to be back. We'll do it again. I think we're doing it again tomorrow. What's our schedule this week? Actually, I can tell you right now. Do you really care? No, I can't tell you right now. I'd have to sign out of one. No, I can tell you right now. I believe Tuesday, Wednesday podcasts. Friday, no podcast. Thursday, probable podcast. So no Friday this week. All right, sounds good. Talk to you guys later.